You don't get nothing else. Satan is the commander-in-chief of this demonic hierarchy of soldiers. All commands of destruction come from him, and his first line of subordinates are principalities. Satan is the commander-in-chief, and his first line of subordinates are the principalities. Watch this. A principality is someone who has rank and jurisdiction over territory. They are Satan's generals, and they have jurisdiction all over the world. Their job is to see to it that Satan's plan is carried out by making sure that it causes simultaneous chaos. Y'all get that? Principalities are all over the place. We're not just talking about one. We're talking about principalities. They're generals in Satan's army. And their job is to make sure that Satan's plan is carried out. Satan gives the command to the principality. The principalities are all over the place, and their job is to make sure that destruction and chaos happen simultaneously all over the world. Watch this. The rulers of darkness are Satan's war strategists. They receive their orders from the principalities who receive their orders from Satan. Their job is to come up with a strategy on how to infiltrate Satan's plan in the earth. Since they are rulers of darkness, they know how to cloak Satan's plan where it gets undetected. They know how to fight in places that we can't see with mere human eye. So what happens is Satan gives his command to the principality, the general. The principality goes and meets with the war strategists, the rulers of darkness, and the war strategists, the rulers of darkness, come up with a way to infiltrate Satan's plan into the earth. Y'all get that?
Amen.
The chain of command. And so because the rulers of darkness operate in darkness, they're able to cover things up and make them look like something else when it's really a plan of Satan.
Amen.
They're masters of camouflage. They know how to get things under the radar and get it in.
That's right.
Oh, man. I told y'all that some of this stuff ain't no political agenda. It's a plan from Satan.
That's right.
But people don't see it that way. Watch this. Then there is the spiritual host of wickedness. Once Satan's plan has been cloaked by the rulers of darkness, it is then given over to the spiritual host of wickedness. Now, the word host is a military term that means army. It signifies army. And what the host does is, once everything has been cloaked, the host begins to infiltrate the plan in. The host represents the grunts. They represent the infantry of Satan's attack, of Satan's military. So you got Satan, the commander-in-chief, right? Just like we got a commander-in-chief, our president. We got the principalities, they're the generals. We got the war strategists, the rulers of darkness, they're the war strategists. They come up with the plan on how to attack, how to get the attack through. And then you got the grunts, the foot soldiers, who work the front line, who actually does the dirty work. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a command, a chain of command. Satan's army has a chain of command just like any other military. Satan gives his plans to his generals. The generals meet with the war strategists, and then the grunts are sent out to do the dirty work. So when we killing grunts. We got to kill the grunts. That's the first line of defense. We may not ever be touched by a principality directly, but that little thing that be standing by your bed at night, in the dark shadow, that's a grunt.
Amen.
And whenever you see him, you better get up and machine gun that joker.
That's right.
Because he come to take you out.
That's right.
So, what happens when when his plan is carried out? Let's go to Ephesians 2. 1 through 2. What happens when his plan is carried out? Is this helping anybody?
Amen. Amen.
We got to know how they operate.
That's right.
So when you go to pray, you got to pray and say, Satan, I come against your grunts, the host of spiritual wickedness in high places. I come against the rulers of darkness, your strategists. I come against them, my God. And then I come against your generals, the principalities. I speak that every plan that you speak and every plan that you try to put in place will be foiled and that it will not work. I pray that between the time you give it to the principality and the time he gives it to the ruler of darkness and the time he hands it over to the spiritual host of wickedness, that it falls through.
Amen.
You got to let him know that you know how he operates.
That's right.
Amen.
But too often we just skim over stuff and lump it all as one thing and not understand that there's a chain of command in Satan's order.
That's right.
Ephesians 2, 1 through 2, it says, and he who made alive who were dead in trespasses and sin, in which you once walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit who now works in the sons of disobedience. What happens when Satan's plan goes through? When Satan's plan goes through, because it's cloaked and undetected, people are under his influence and don't even realize it. There's a spirit in them working and getting them to carry out vile acts, but they don't recognize it. What does it say? How do we know they don't recognize it? In which you once walked, he says, listen, you once were under the influence of that spirit. According to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit who now works in the sons of disobedience. How do we know that they don't know? Because of their disobedience. They refuse the truth. They refuse to embrace truth. They refuse to embrace real things. And what God is teaching them and training them and letting them know about. They are the sons of disobedience.
Amen. Thank you, Lord.
But see, you got to learn how to break stuff off your life.
All right.
Instead of holding on to it, break it off your life.
That's right.
Recognize that that's a spirit of the son of disobedience. So if you're not prospering the way you want to, you need to do a self-assessment and realize maybe there's a spirit operating in me that I need to get broken from. I need to be separated from it. Because God doesn't see me the way I want him to see me. He sees me as a person of disobedience. But then, watch this, watch this. What does God want from us? In order to understand that, we got to go to Ephesians 3, verses 8 through 10. It says, to me, who am less than the least of all the saints, this grace was given that I should preach amongst the Gentiles the unsearchable riches of Christ, to make all see what is the fellowship of the mystery which from the beginning of the ages have been hidden in God, who created all things through Jesus Christ. Watch this. To the intent. Watch this. Somebody say, to the intent. That now the manifold wisdom of God might be made known by who?